A historic day in the nation's capital as the U.S. Supreme Court considers former President Trump's eligibility to be on Colorado's presidential primary ballot.
Back in December, the state Supreme Court barred Trump from the state's ballot after finding the former president did engage in the deadly January 6th Capitol riots.
Colorado's Republican Party appealed the decision, and right now Trump's name is on the ballot.
Denver 7 attorney and reporter Jessica Crawford joining us now. So Jessica, the justices, they didn't really seem convinced that the insurrectionist clause applied here.
That's right. So the Supreme Court was kind of signaling some support for former President Donald Trump during today's oral arguments. Justices now have to decide if Trump is eligible to be on our state's ballot.
Following oral arguments at the Supreme Court, many legal experts predict that the justices are leaning towards Trump being back on Colorado's ballot.
I would be surprised at this point if they didn't overrule the Colorado Supreme Court's decision that Trump should not be on the ballot.
DU Sturm College of Law professor Ian Farrell says both conservative and liberal justices questioned whether the insurrectionist ban was intended to apply to former presidents. Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson noted that the insurrection clause did not include the word president. She also noted that it specifically listed other officials who would be covered, for example, members of Congress. That's one of Trump's main arguments. The court also focused on the origins of the insurrection clause. It was drafted as a means to block former Confederate officers who were elected to office after the Civil War. Chief Justice John Roberts telling the attorney for Colorado voters that his arguments are at war with the history of the 14th Amendment. Colorado's Solicitor General Shannon Stevenson represented Colorado Secretary of State Jenna Griswold at the oral arguments.
This case was handled capably and efficiently by the Colorado courts under a process that we've used to decide ballot challenges for more than a century.
Farrell says Stevenson had an answer for justices who questioned whether removing Trump from the ballot could lead to other states kicking other candidates off their ballots.
She noted, first of all, that we should have some degree of trust in our courts and other institutions to weed out frivolous claims.
Now that oral arguments are complete, we could get an answer quickly.
I would be surprised if it took them more than 2 or 3 days.
Norma Anderson, the 91-year-old lead plaintiff in the lawsuit seeking to disqualify Donald Trump from office, had plenty to say after today's oral argument. She said in part, quote, "Democracy is precious if it doesn't last unless you take care of it." In the studio, I'm Jessica Crawford, Denver 7.
All right, Jessica, thank you for your work on this one today. And looking closer at the 9 Supreme Court justices, 3 of them were appointed by former President Trump: Neil Gorsuch, Brett Kavanaugh, and Amy Coney Barrett. The justices have considered several Trump-related cases in recent years, declining to take up his claims of fraud in the 2020 election, as well as refusing to shield tax records from Congress and prosecutors in New York. Now, the High Court last played a central role, of course, in a presidential election when it ended the 2020 recount, effectively giving George W. Bush a victory over Al Gore.
We'll be following this case as we await the Supreme Court's decision. For in-depth coverage and the latest developments, you can visit our website, denver7.com.